On this episode of the Star Trek Universe podcast, we are talking about Star Trek Discovery 112, Vaulting Ambition, right after this.
Welcome to the Star Trek Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I am David C. Robertson.
What's up, buddy?
I don't know, man. We're just getting through this rewatch. I'm excited. I'm excited to see season 2. I'm enjoying the whole thing.
Yeah, while I was waiting to get on this cast, I watched the new Pike short or whatever, like the behind the scenes short about becoming Pike.
Okay.
It was good. I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm very excited about the season. They were highlighting the fact that Pike is just such a different captain. He's such a cheerier captain and a different kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And how different he is from Lorca, and they just showed a few scenes of like the crew responding like they've all been beaten by Lorca for a season.
Yeah, it's an interesting take that they're going that way with Pike, because if you go back to the Cage,
yeah, he was pretty deadpan. Really, he wasn't super chipper.
Well, yeah, he wasn't chipper. He was tired of being the captain. He was, like he told Dr. Boyce, I'm tired of being in charge of who lives and who dies. So, yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that works. And is the Cage canon now? I know the other.
In my understanding, the only parts of the Cage that are actually canon are the parts that are shown in the menagerie. But
is the stuff about him being tired of being a captain, is that all in there?
I think so. Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch, because I've seen both of them so many times that I just don't remember. But I do think the part, I hope the part about I can't get used to a woman on the bridge is not in the menagerie.
Right. We'll have to go back and maybe. Well, we will not have time before this new season, but we should watch the menagerie. I might watch the menagerie on my own just to see how it's compare and contrast this new Pike.
Right.
With the actual canon sections of the old Pike. Okay, Let's dive in and talk about this episode. You want to give us that summary?
CBS All Access's summary. Burnham heads to the ISS Charon with a special gift for the Emperor. With the help of an unexpected source, Stamets gains clarity while trapped inside the mycelial network. Saru asks for L'Rell's help.
Yeah. Man, this episode was really good too.
Yeah, I love everything between Burnham and Georgiou.
Me too.
I had forgotten that she raised Burnham.
Oh, really? Okay.
The last episode. And I was like, I guess her and she, like, Sarek never, blah, And, and then I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. That was cool, and we talked about it a few episodes ago, but it is true that Mirror Stamets lives in the palace, and
absolutely,
it sounds like my theory on how the Stamets stuff worked is true. They even said it in this episode. They said that he was experiencing things from the other Stamets was trying to communicate by giving him flashes of the other universe.
Right.
So
right.
That is apparently how his cognition's working. And when he says the enemy is here, he says it in this episode as well, and he's talking about whatever this disruption in the mycelium network is, it looks like.
Yeah, I think he's talking about his own self, like his mirror self.
Oh, you think that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, see, no, I took it as when he says it, it flashes to that disruption in the mycelium network.
Mirror Stamets caused it.
That's true.
That's what Nexus Culver said.
Nexus Culver. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't. It was funny how they just worked together to get out of there. I don't know. It was strange. I really don't know the way that I don't remember what happens with Stamets. So all this stuff. This isn't spoilery because I don't remember it at all. I don't know if we ever even see Mirror Stamets again, but the way he vaults out of bed and like runs to his computer, it just seemed like he was really going to do something. And I'm like, and I'm very wary of Mirror Stamets because if they're good in our universe, they're probably bad in that universe. Mm-hmm. And we do know that he caused some sort of damage to the mycelial network, which I didn't really. I vaguely remembered that from this episode, but I don't really remember how they resolve that or if it gets resolved. And I'm actually thinking, based on trailers of season 2, could that be the calamity that's coming with the Red Angel? And
I don't know.
They talk about life being extinguished in this, and if they're doing that again in season 2, that seems strange. Without them being connected.
I don't know. We're talking about, we know Section 31 is involved, which would make sense if there was like something that was coming from the mirror universe trying to destroy our universe.
Well, the mycelial network, if there's a breakdown in the mycelial network, it like goes across universes. The mycelial network exists in all universes, or at least in those 2. And then he mentions, and any other universe that it reaches into.
Yeah, I mean, something from the mirror universe, whether it's the mycelial network or not, because I don't remember how they leave that.
I don't either.
If it's something that is coming from the mirror universe,
Section 31 might be involved.
It might be involved. It could still, be threatening to wipe out sentient life in our galaxy. Red Angel still could be coming to warn us of that. There's plenty of leeway.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with season 2. Like the rewatch has really excited me for season 2.
I wonder if all of this is considered spoilers for people who haven't seen all of Discovery.
I feel like not much of what we have said I don't think has any bearing on what goes forward. We're talking a little bit about the trailers for season 2, but I don't think that's really a big deal. We mentioned one thing, but I don't think we actually went far enough to be considered spoilers. I think we're safe. I've been paying attention.
Okay.
I've been listening for it. I think we're good.
All right.
So if we're not, sorry about that, guys. You should have seen Discovery by now.
Yeah, you should have.
I say as I'm encouraging you to do a rewatch with us.
Right.
All right.
Stop shaming our listeners.
No, I'm shaming us.
Don't shame us. Clearly. I didn't do anything.
Shame.
What did I do?
You have to walk naked through the streets now.
What is that a reference to?
It's Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
It's a really intense scene.
People walk naked on that show everywhere.
Yeah, but this is like a really intense scene where a proud woman is stripped naked as religious punishment and forced to walk through the streets as like all the commoners like throw food and everything at her.
And then like one commoner's over there going, "It's only a body double."
It's good. It really is a sad scene, honestly. Like it's weird because it's a character you hate, but then it happens and it's really hard to watch because they just don't cut away, and it's like they let it be like a 5-minute long scene of her just walking through the streets being tortured. You're just like tortured with shame, and a lady's walking behind. I don't remember what she said. I think there's a lady walking behind her saying shame. I don't know if I'm remembering that or if that's from something else and I'm conflating the two. Okay. Anyway, back to Star Trek Discovery.
Thank God.
I feel like this episode is mostly putting things in place because it's setting up the dynamic of what the palace is like and obviously who Lorca is at this point. So
yes,
Lorca. That's the big deal of this episode. The Lorca reveal. Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the way they handle it?
The Lorca reveal is done very, very well. I very much enjoyed the Lorca reveal. Even watching it here, I was just, even knowing what was going to happen, as Giorgio is telling Burnham all about her Lorca, just the realization of all the same rhetoric and everything, the sensitivity to light. It was dope. And I still got the tinkles. I still
The one part that had me a little weird is the fact that it seemed a little thin still. Like Lorca's explanations as captain were still held water. Like he could have just had his eyes damaged at a battle or whatever, and all the other stuff was super circumstantial. Where she's like, "Oh," and it all sounded like, he said this is the strongest case for destiny or whatever. Like,
right.
It could just be that she also met Lorca in that universe, and he also, took a shine to her, and she also thought of him as a father figure in that universe. Like, there's nothing to say that he is the mirror version. There's no proof. It's not like she comes up with not like she catches him in the act of being the mirror version.
I agree with you, but, thematically, it was like what I was saying a few episodes ago. Like, she never actually trusted Lorca. Like, from the very beginning, she's like, why me? Why do you have, you feel like you have a common person here, like this person who's like you, and it's like, I'm not that person, even though I did X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So, like, she has been trying to figure out somewhere in the back of her mind what the hell he wants and what his true goal was. So we're supposed to believe when Georgiou is telling her all this stuff is snapping into place.
Right. It just seemed a little abrupt to immediately turn and be like, well, you should keep him. He's bad. Or whatever. Like,
right. I do agree that's a little thin, but I'm willing to suspend the disbelief just enough to cover that point.
Yeah. And we've talked about this in the previous episode, we have different views of their relationship. I think that at times she found him very comforting and did think of him as like a good figure in her life. She did not at all points did she mistrust him. And in that 2 episodes ago, he basically was her only tether. She's really holding on to him to keep from being alone.
Sure, but when you're in that position, even if you don't trust someone, you don't have to tether yourself to someone you completely trust.
Yeah.
That just the complexity of the human condition. Like, sometimes who among us hasn't been in a romantic relationship that we knew was bad for us?
Oh, all of us. I think we've all been there.
Like, there's been a few girls that I dated in the past that I know I couldn't trust them as far as I threw them.
Right. Oh, man. So the most heartbreaking part of this episode was clearly Stamets and Colbert having their loving conversation. What do you think is going on there? Because there's three distinct theories of what is happening. What is actually happening while Stamets is talking to Colbert?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's if it's a Star Trek 3 kind of thing or whatever, or Star Trek 2, whatever it is, whichever one it was. Those two run together for me. He's always alive as long as we remember him type of situation, and the mycelial network is just bringing that out. Yeah. Or creating something to make him more, like Mirror Stamets said, it creates an environment that makes you more comfortable.
Right.
And whether it was like a Culber who was born out of Stamets' mind, but he also provided information. But that could have also been just something that Stamets was picking up from being a part of the mycelial network and being able to see everything.
Yeah. So this is the three versions of this that I see. And there's one I particularly like, is that somehow that's actually Colbert. Like, somehow he is speaking because the tendrils reach everywhere, and somehow he is reaching out and touching whatever soul is left of Colbert. And I think that's a beautiful notion, but I don't think it's correct. At least
that is interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It is interesting.
Really is like Nexus Culber.
Yeah, it's Nexus Culber. Then you've got the idea that it's just Stamets. Stamets is Stamets' head creating a comfortable environment, like you said. Mm-hmm. But my favorite theory is that version of Hugh is the mycelium network itself communicating the information that it needs to communicate to Stamets so that he can save it. Because we've got this living highway of tendrils that reaching into all universes, and it's trying to defend itself against the other Stamets, and it's found an ally, and it is taking on a form so that it trusts so that Stamets trusts the network, and it's communicating to him. A la when the prophets show up as Cassidy, or as Cisco's wife, when they're trying to in the very first episode of DS9, they show up as Cisco's wife to speak to him. I don't know. I really like that as an idea, but I don't remember where this goes from here. I've seen it before, but I have no idea what happens after this, and if there even is. There's got to be they got to do something with the mycelium network, and I don't remember what it is. And they've got to do something to get home, and I don't remember. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll get there.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I'd be interested to which one of those theories is borne out by the future actions,
right?
And if we're gonna encounter the mycelium network in the future. I know there's some legal issues, and I think there's some producers that have said like they're not going to touch on the mycelium network anymore. Because of that. I don't know if and I don't know if there's going to be an in-story reason. Maybe they realize they're tampering with it is what's causing the damage or whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was all very touching. I don't know what was actually happening, and I love that. I love that kind of stuff. It just reminds me of the prophets, and like, are they gods or are they just beings outside of time? And is there a difference? Like that question's always been amazing.
Yeah, I dig it.
What did you think of the Voke Laurel stuff in this episode?
It was fine. I wasn't incredibly impressed with it. Honestly, it was just more of the same. Like, it was rough seeing him claw himself,
Sure.
And, Saru's constant, like, hey, you need to help him. No. Hey, you need to help him. No. It was just whatever.
Right.
I didn't care. I'm just ready for them to move on.
I'm going to jump to one of my quotes when he's trying to get her to help, and she tells him, like, they have one scene between them, and she says, it's fine if he dies, if he goes through pain. That is the choice he made. This is war. And then he comes back and says, human versus a Klingon in one body. That is war.
Yeah, that was cool.
I liked it, just how like saucy he was when he said it. He's like, Saru can be so saucy.
I don't think I got saucy off of that.
Oh man, he put some stank on that. That is war. Like, I bested you in this argument. I liked it.
Yeah, the part that I really, really liked with Laurel though, was when she helped basically kill Voke.
So that was my question. I still don't fully understand. So is that what did she just submerge his consciousness again?
They did say that there was an Ash Tyler before, and they basically like took his DNA and like merged him and Voke. They basically turned Voke into Ash Tyler, like we were talking about. Right. But I think, if I understand it, she actually like put Voke to rest.
Right. It seems that putting Voke to rest was the only way to bring peace to the two of them. Mm-hmm. But to me, that makes no sense for a couple of reasons. It seems like the underlying personality would be the one that needed to be brought out to bring peace, not the personality sitting on top of the other one. But that's neither here nor there. The thing that doesn't make sense to me is, what was your plan? if, like, there's no way to bring Vogue out fully and have him be Vogue again, what was the plan? Why infiltrate at all?
Well, I think part of that was, due to... I think part of it was that Saru informed her that the war was over. They're in a different universe. Like, everything she planned for is nothing. Like, there's no point to any of it anymore. All that there is now is Vogue and Tyler who are in pain.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and Tyler didn't give up his life. Vogue did.
So you think she was sort of giving mercy on both of them by putting Vogue out of his pain and saving Ash Tyler.
Right. And I don't think that it was, I've seen some people say, like, she just put it dormant. And maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe it was all an act. But when she puts Vogue to rest, so to speak, she does, she does howl to let the warriors from Stovacor know that a warrior is coming.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I noticed that, and I was like, well, that's what they do when people die. I guess he's dead now? He did start speaking English, but that was the thing. He started speaking English, but he still was saying a Klingon prayer. Yeah.
I think he was, like, coming to Ash Tyler as he was dying, basically.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying that's what happened, and that's what I took from it.
Yeah. It's just not super clear, but it doesn't have to be, I guess. I guess sometimes when things aren't clear, they can be more realistic. The whole time with Burnham and Georgiou was super interesting to watch. Georgiou just proving herself a badass and a brutal person.
Oh, yeah. I love when she murders everybody.
Yeah, when she murders everybody and says, like, Governor Elon or whatever, can you keep a secret?
Right.
That was really great.
Like, yeah, y'all can.
Yes, I can. I am scared of you. That was a lot of fun. So, any other thoughts or characters that this episode touched on that we haven't?
I really enjoyed, especially knowing what was going on with Lorca. I love all of that about the dude's sister.
Yeah. It really highlights the kind of man Lorca was. Especially when he really turns full-on baddie and he says, her name was Ava or whatever. I forget.
Yeah, her name was Ava, and I liked her. But you know how it is. Someone better comes along. Crunch.
Oh, so dark, so gross. He's just a, bad man. He's just a bad man. All right. So, you want to get into our quotes? You got any quotes?
That was one of them. Her name was Ava. I like that one a lot. That was just like, oh gosh. Really good. Oh no.
From the very top, I liked, logic tells me she's not the woman I betrayed, but this feels like a reckoning.
I did, yeah. I have that one down. Absolutely.
I know that there's a school of thought of TV writing that you should write it more like people talk. And I don't abide that. I love that. I love that sort of Firefly speak. That sort of half profane, half glorious, where you're just really talking about, I don't know, with beauty and sort of, I don't know, grunt level language. I just love it. I love the combination.
Mm-hmm. Right. There is a phrase, there is a name for what you're describing, and I can't remember what it is for the life of me at this point. But, yeah, I loved Stamets and Stamets. What is this? Am I dead? Is this the afterlife? Are you some sort of narcissistic Virgil leading me to judgment? Yes, Paul. You've been wrong about everything. There is a God, and she's very, very mad at you right now. He's like, I totally had you. I totally had you.
That's such a smart-ass thing to do.
Yeah, it's great.
So mean. So mean. Love that. I don't have any more. If you got any others.
I don't either.
Okay. Well, let's dive into some trivia.
Sure. The title, and all this trivia is from Memory Alpha. The title is a reference to the line, "I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other," from Act 1, Scene 7 of Shakespeare's Macbeth. This is the shortest live-action episode ever.
Oh, wow.
It's 38 minutes.
Until the short
Just
trips.
under 38 minutes. I'm not sure that they're counting that as a series, though, for real.
Well, yeah, I know, but they are shorter, and they are episodes.
You're right.
And they are live action.
You're right.
But shortest up until now.
I'm the asshole.
You're not an asshole. It's just new information.
So they brought up connected to this, the episode revealed that humans and Terrans have only one biological difference, photosensitivity. In the Mirror Universe episodes predating Discovery and following Mirror Mirror, the starships and habitats are noticeably darker than a Federation starship would be. They even point out that Jonathan Archer appears to squint while in the captain's chair of the U.S.S. Defiant on Enterprise. I think that was just questionable acting on Scott Bakula's part.
He's a squinty man.
He squinted a lot while he was being evil. It was weird.
He squinted a lot as he was bouncing around from body to body back in the early 90s.
He did.
He's a squinty man.
He's a squinter.
Not faulting him for it. I like the guy. Squint or no squint.
Right.
Stupid. Let's move on.
I was just letting you go, man.
So sometimes I count on you to interrupt me, man.
Nah, man. I'm gonna let you dig that hole yourself. And the classified file on the U.S.S. Defiant reference to Vince in Star Trek Enterprise in A Mirror Darkly.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they. I love that they're referencing Enterprise as much as they are.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Or at least a version of the universe we saw in Enterprise.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I really, really liked this episode. I'm really excited about the last 3, I guess it is, we have left.
Yeah, we have 3 left.
Awesome. Any spoilers talk you have?
I don't think so, because I don't remember anything else that happens in this season.
Yeah, I think I'm officially caught up with how the season ends.
Yeah, the closer we've gotten to the end, the less I remember.
Oh, I am remembering some things now. But we won't talk about them because you don't remember them and I don't want to spoil them for you.
Yeah, it's gotten bad.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us then. We'll be back very shortly. We're going to be dropping these almost every day this week because new episodes start at the end of the week.
They do. We got to catch up.
Yeah, we're almost there. 3 episodes. We can do it.
I hope we can mustard it.
It would have been a fine thing if it weren't for that laugh. All right, guys. Dave, you're cracking me up with that laugh. All right, guys. Peace.
Live long and prosper.
To reach out to us, hit us up at StarTrekUcast.com, at StarTrekUcast on Twitter, Star Trek Universe Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for us there, or send us a message at StarTrekUcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv. And if you want to hear more from Matthew Carroll, that's me, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or go listen to my music at MatthewCarrollmusic.com or anywhere you get music.